Hey everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel, or if you're new, welcome to start with. Hope everybody's having a great day today. Today what I wanted to talk about, and I'm hoping this will be one of my quicker videos, fingers crossed, we'll see. But today I wanted to talk about how do you take something that looks like could be a hot mess, and you're like, oh my God, that really I just need to throw that away. I don't know, how am I supposed to create something really pretty with these? What am I supposed to do with these? Well, believe it or not, these backgrounds, these cards were made from these kinds of backgrounds. So how do we take it from this? These are as I've told you guys, when I'm doing things like alcohol inks, or I'm working with watercolors, or I'm using my these were some of them where I was playing with my distress mica stains, also the color explosion powders. That's what these all were. So when I'm doing those things, because it makes such a mess, I like to do it once and then clean up. So I'll have like a lot of leftovers sitting in a drawer kind of thing. Like these have some beautiful deep intense colors, but it's like, wow, that could be intimidating to make a card out of, right? This is, again, this one's beautiful as well. This is very similar to what this was made out of here. Okay. So that's what I'm going to work on today. So I've already done some pre-die cutting, but what I want to show you is my process when I'm doing this. Sorry, that's just slightly off kilter. Let me switch that just a bit there. There we go. Sorry, guys. I want to show you what my process is when I'm looking at something like this, and how do I go forward with that? So what I'm going to bring out is this is a die cut set from Scrapbooking Made Simple. Stacy, it's a store out of the States called Scrapbooking Made Simple. You can find them at scrapbookingmadesimple.com, and there was a whole line that came out that were of these kinds of dies. I have some more here. For example, I have this tulip. This is what it looks like here. Let me see here. This one's an orchid. I'm going to play with that. This is kind of what it looks like. These ones are some hyacinths. So these are actually the two that I already completed. So this is this die. Okay. And then this one is this die. And I've had these for many, many years, and I haven't ever really used them. I've never taken the time to use them. And I was going through some of my backgrounds and thinking, oh my goodness, I am getting quite a stack. I need to clear these out. So what I've done is I've chosen a larger die, and now I'm going to take this. This is going to be the image. This is how much space it takes up. The problem is when these things come apart, is you have to remember, how do I put these gosh darn things back together? Let me sure that's going to go that way. Nope. There we go. There we go. Okay. So this is how the die comes out of the packaging. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the central focus part aside, and I'm going to hold it onto my piece of paper. And what I'm going to imagine is you can see where all of the cut lines, anything that's beyond that is going to be cut away. So what kind of framing do I like? I had some like I have this really dark piece here, which is really cool for like a night sky or something like that. But if you can see here, it's too big. My die would hang off the edge, so I wouldn't get all of these beautiful details on it. So that one's not going to work. This one would make a really cool flower, right? I'm probably going to use that one for some Lavinia stamping. This one would be really beautiful. Look at this beautiful kind of coppery color that's in there. That would be really nice. I could do it in that direction like that, get some of that pretty copper. That's an option. I like that one. I've got this beautiful green with this kind of coppery color in it. That would also be very nice. This one here just fits. So when I go to run this through my die cut machine, I'll really have to make sure that I tape this down so it doesn't move. But this has this really pretty blue and pink shimmer. This was done with distressed mica sprays. If I remember, that's not what this is about today, this class, but or this video. But if I remember, I'll try and link the mica distress sprays video that I've done, or videos. I think I've done a couple of them. I'll try and remember to link them at the end on the bottom. You can see here that this just fits. There's no dye overhanging the edge here. So I kind of like it on here. I like these kind of splotches. That's kind of fun. And this is a second offcut of that same one here that has a slightly more texture. It's got a little bit more white on it. So that would be really nice. I think I'll put that one to the side here. So these are the ones, these are my nose. This is another one, like look at how much shine that has in that one area, but then the rest of it kind of just looks like splotches. But if I take my die cut and or my outline and I were to put this on this piece of paper like this, that would give me some really pretty color on it. So this is going to be a contender. This big pink one would be nice as well, but I think that one's pretty simple. But this is again another one. It's got this really dark spot in the center of it. What the heck am I supposed to do with that? But if I were to take this, like this, cut it out, and then this would obviously get cut out as well. Look at how that changes what that could look like, right? That could be really lovely. Decisions, decisions, decisions. So I think I'm debating between these two because the other ones that are here seem pretty simple, and I think you guys can kind of figure that out. Think. Let's see here. So there's that one or that one. I think, yep, I think I'm going to take, no, this one I can stamp and use for living mail. So I'll do this one here. All right, so I'm going to pull out. So because I want this to make sure, I want a nice even border on this, and I want my flower to come in. So I want, it's going to sit in the center here. I am going to tape this down just to make sure that I'm going to get a good adhesion. It's going to stay basically where I want it to stay. A little bit of tape here. And these are just pieces of mint tape from scrapbooking.com that I like to use to help hold my pieces in place so they don't move. And I recycle them. So they just kind of go onto my spinning tower that's right here. And you can see here that this has lifted just a little bit because I didn't put my tape in the best places there. So let's hold that together there. All right. And I'm going to pull that over and I'm going to put it onto my die cutting sandwich. I'm going to run this through my die cutting machine. Which off to the side here, I am using a Gemini Junior, which is my electric cutting machine, die cutting machine. I do have a Sizzix Big Shot, which is what I use when I'm traveling. I don't take my electronic one with me anywhere. And I'm gonna put this to the side, put my trays away. Okay. Now, this was also a fairly detailed die cut, so I made sure that I had a shim that went through with this as well. So that was what that extra little metal piece was that went through. It was a shim to make sure that I'm going to get good pressure all the way through to get all of these beautiful details that are in this incredibly fine and detailed die. It's lots of little lines, and we want to make sure that we're going to get all of that, right? Okay. And we're picking up one and picking up two. So I want to try and keep this together so I don't have to try and find all of that again because that's never, oh, I've got it upside down. That would be why it's not fitting in there. Nope. How did I manage to move it? Just pulling it out of the damn die. That's funny. It's upside down. Okay. And go spinny, spinny. There we go. Okay. All right. So I don't know how much that's going to show up on camera. Oh yeah, there you can see where it's cut right into it. It's cut through to the back. So now I'm going to come through and you can see that there's these really fine details off on the edge. So I want to make sure that I'm all these little curly cues. I'm getting my finger, my fingernail, or my tweezers or my pokey tool, and I'm just going to follow along and kind of pop that out of the paper, being pretty gentle because those little curly cues can be very delicate. Okay, so this piece I don't really need any of this. I could possibly use this for die cutting some sort of a sentiment, but I don't think I'm going to need it. So the rest of that is garbage. Now, I'm not going to take too long on doing this, but basically what I want to do is I'm going to come through and I'm going to pop out my pieces here. All right, and we have a really nice little shadow. And there's like a little bit that's going to come out here for the flower, which is very cool. And if you, because I did put now this is watercolor cardstock, so it's quite thick. And because I did use the shim, I'm able to pretty much pop out most of these dies, okay? Or most of the pieces from this die. And give it a bit of a roll, and these things should be mostly popping out. My fingers here, or the little, this is a kind of a pokey tool, and it will roll through and clear out or loosen some of these die pieces. Then if that's not working, then I come in with my little pokey tool, and this is actually just a, what do you call it? A weeding tool, a Cricut weeding tool, like for vinyl weeding tool. And it works really well, but you can get little pokey tools, things like this work great. Any little sharp stick, technically you could use a pin, but it's nice to have this because it has a little bit more control, and I don't tend to poke myself quite as many times as I assume I would with a pin, actually. So I'm not gonna poke this all out in its entirety. I just want to give you guys kind of an idea of, if you remember what seemed like a fairly overwhelming print, right? That was could have been a very overwhelming background. And you're looking at it going, oh my goodness, I don't even know what the heck I'm going to do with that. By pulling this out and taking I'm removing almost half of the overwhelm out of this, right? Because the lines are quite delicate. There's going to be, when I put this on a card, I could put this on a colored background if I wanted to. But what I really like, what I think is going to be really, is I'm going to put it on white, because the white will give it that space that it needed to help remove that overwhelm, so that it gives your eye something else to look at. And then this becomes this beautiful multicolored focal point, instead of something that's like, oh, I can't even imagine, what to do with that, or where would I, how do I even use that in my, um, how do I make something beautiful out of that? So let's give this a go here. I don't, maybe what I'll do is I'll title this video "Creating Calm Out of a Chaotic Background." I don't know. But essentially, if you're finding something that is just too much, try die cutting it. Try putting, even that I could have, if I'd have trimmed that down to a smaller piece, like something that would fit on an A2 card or something like that. I could have trimmed that down and put a bigger border on it, and then just done like on a white card, and then like a nice neutral or white sentiment or something like that, right? Okay, so just kind of clear that up here a bit. And then I'm also going to go through, these are kind of some bigger pieces here, so this shouldn't take too long. But I have some pieces cut off to the side, cut and layered already. So I'm not, this isn't the piece that I'm going to work with today, but I want to show you how it goes from, oh my goodness, that has to go in the garbage, to, wow, that is going to be stunning. Because that's the whole point. And like when I'm often teaching classes and things like that, people will create a background and go, oh my God, it's too dark. I can't use that. I don't know what to do with it. I've made a mistake. I have to throw it away. No, that's, you've only started the process. You're not done yet. What did I do with that? There we go. Little carried away with my curly cue there. Yeah, you've only just started the process. There's a whole lot to go on yet. So, and this, by doing these kinds of things, again, this is how you get to know your supplies. This is how you figure out, how can I correct a mistake? Is it a mistake? How do I take something that, the average person might look at and go, that's a no, and make it something that's really pretty. Mhm. Right. So let's get a little bit more out of this guy here. Mm. Okay, okay. All right. Okay, I'm going to put that to the side here. I'm going to sweep this up onto a plate. All right. Now, this to the side. All right. And I'm just going to pull out a card front here. Now, I'm going to show you the difference. So if you remember, it kind of looked like this, right? This is the one that I put to the side. I'll use that for something else. But this is about how busy, except for it was darker and a little bit more intense. Now, you can see here, I still haven't peeled out everything, but look at what happens when, now I'm gonna have to fiddle with this to find out which side is this. Oh, jeez. Oh, nope, not quite. Maybe there, maybe there. There we go. Oop, and this one. Okay, there we go. Now, imagine, look at the difference. Okay. We went from this to be, and oh my goodness, like if you imagine this part here, how deep and dark that is, to that with white space and breathing room on it and room to highlight and showcase. So if I were to take this as well, I've also pre-cut just out of white cardstock some extra of the just the flower, not the background. Jeez Louise, why is this so complicated to do this here? I think that's what I want right there. Yes, it is. And so when you pop something up, you also create a beautiful bit of shadow and separation. So now it's going to add in, look at how different that looks. Now it's not quite so scary, right? Okay, so let's stick some things down because these guys have already been fiddling with and whatever, but let's make a card out of something. So it's not, I'm not going to do it out of this guy because there's still more to pop out and glue down and whatever, but that's the idea there. So the first one that I'm going to do is I have this a side folding A2 card, and this is one. I wonder if I have the, yes, I do. Okay. This is what I cut it out of. So this is the second part of the panel that I had. This is what it started out as. This is what it finished. So this could be quite overwhelming. You might not be able to deal with that. That's a little bit much. This, lots of white space, lots of room to breathe. Okay. So, and then I have two options. I have, for what I'm thinking of, I'm making Mother's Day cards here. I'm going to stick this down, but I want to decide if I want to could do happy. And on here, on this basket, I think I can even fit the Happy Mother's Day. Okay, so that's one option, and that would still be visible off of there. Okay, that's kind of cute. The other thing that I could do is if I push this down a bit, I have this really lovely sentiment, strong women raise strong women. How nice would that be for Mother's Day? That's kind of cute. So I could put this on the outside and I could do this Happy Mother's Day on the inside. So I could put that up too, and actually just have this sitting here. I kind of like that. What do you guys think? Yeah, I think that's nice. Okay, so I'm going to glue this down, and you can see that it's pretty fine. There's lots of details and everything here. So I have cut this out and with the colored one, and then I've bumped it up with another piece of white cardstock that was an off cut, like a scrap that had some stamping on it that I wasn't happy with. So throw that away. We're just going to make that into, I'm going to create it into a layer that will add, again, a little bit more depth, a little bit more dimension. Helps out with that. That's what we're looking for. Okay. Change the edge here. And the adhesive that I'm using is just liquid adhesive. It's Bearly Art glue that I put into my precision glue press. Alrighty, and wait, I want to make sure I'm going to be able to fit my sentiment at the bottom there. I saw space. I did see a space from the back there that has not been poked out. I'll pull that out before I try and glue it down because that's not going to come out once it's stuck down on the card. Nothing good. Okay. Oh, you like that. Okay. So there's some beautiful detailing on this. The video that I watched her do this, and I've had these for years. I've probably had these dies for, gosh, I don't know. How long have I had these dies? A good 5, 6 years, probably, maybe 7 actually. I'm just gonna put some stamping blocks on there, just kind of hold it down. And then I'm gonna pull my sentiment. So this is a sentiment strip from the set of where did I put it here? It's called, I believe it's called Foundations. Yeah, Foundations, and this is from Simon Says Stamp. You just search their sentiment strips, and this is one. So it comes in sheets. There's 4 sheets, and yeah, and you just cut them out. You can use a die cut, like a sentiment flag or a sentiment strip die, or you can just use a paper trimmer. I just use my paper trimmer to do this. And then I backed it with 2 layers of white cardstock. Instead of using foam adhesive, I just used a strip of, again, leftover, oops, just kind of want to sure to center that on there, leftover white cardstock strips from offcuts and things like that, which I just keep in a jar here, but makes really good, strong sentiments. Okay, so then for now, then what I'll do is on the inside, I will now put in my Happy Mother's Day. I'll just glue that down. Happy. And I think I'm going to slightly offset it and go Happy Mother's Day like that. Maybe a little different than some of the other cards that I did, so that'll be nice. Oops. Oftentimes when you're using a large die, you don't always have room to do a big sentiment or something on the front of the card. So that can be challenging. Um, and that also then helps contribute to the busyness. If you've got an overwhelming print or something, an overwhelming, I was using what could have been an overwhelming background. So if I try to squish too much onto the front of a card, then that also adds to the overwhelm. So rather than doing that, let's allow it to have that little bit of, I'm going to have a tittle here someplace. There it is right there. Let's allow it to have some breathing room. And let's put that right there to out this. Right. I got a squidgy of glue there, adhesive. All right. Now, on the front of this card, oh, and that's a little bit off to the center. Oh, well, whatever. Okay, so Happy Mother's Day on the inside now in some nice bright and shiny letters. Yeah, what we can do, I don't want to stick that down too much because I might have some adhesive still on the inside. But what we can also do then is just add a little bit of shine to this. So I'm going to pull out some flat back pearls and I'm going to pull out probably some blues here. It seems like that would be the color to go with. So I've got this really nice kind of bright blue. Let's see, how do we feel about that? There's that one. There's also this slightly lighter blue. Hmm. Which one do I like? I think I like the lighter blue with it compared to the darker blue. Yep, I like the lighter blue. All right. So let's dig out a few more of the light blue ones. That feels like that is a light, is that light blue or is that light green? Nope, that's light green. Mhm. Mhm. The blue in there. Mhm. Mhm. So, and this is just a pack of flatback pearls. Not even sure where I got it. I've just been adding to it. So I like to pick up colored flatback pearls and then I just yeah, just keeps getting added to my stash. I had some Studi Katya ones. Who else did I have? Oh, I'm trying to think of another studio name. I don't remember who they are. Oopsie. All right. Oh, come on, you. All right. I actually want to try and find, so I need another one of that lighter blue. That one there. There we go. These ones are a little too turquoisey. That's better. Great. Half of the video will just be you guys watching me try to pick up these blooming flat black pearls. Okay. Turn you over. There we go. Good. All right. Okay. And it just flipped back over. Son of a gun. Like toast that always wants to land jam side down, right? Okay, so as usual, I'm going to continue to have like an odd number. So I'm going to do probably something like that. And then make an arrangement here of maybe something like that. Know that I want to have that inside the flower. Yeah, I think I'm liking that. That works well enough for me. Okay, so let's stick it down. Commit to the adhesive, and we're going to stick down the pearls. It's all good. Oops. Mm. And these pearls aren't too big, so I don't have to have huge droplets of adhesive here. Ooh, further up. It doesn't look like it's on heel with that. Move down, maybe you already moved. This one, we're gonna bring that in a bit. Over there. There we go. All right. Adhesive down. Okay, so that's one. And other than trying to find the bloomin' pearls here and whatnot, not too long, right? Now, you weren't here for all the die cutting. The die cutting and the poking out of the all the little fine details, that took a bit, which is why I did it beforehand. But one down. Let's do the other card that I had in mind. And this is a beautiful orchid. And so you can see here, if you can imagine, if this was a full sheet of, let's see, so this would have been, I don't know, would have been similar to this. This is what I got out of it by cutting it down. So you can imagine kind of busy, lots on the go, changing that to this, giving it some nice highlights and breathing room with the white. Okay, so what I want to do with this one, let's check and make sure that I have my card opening the correct way, which I do. And again, this is a standard A2, which means it's 4¼ by 5½ inches. And we're going to stick down we're going to stick down the frame. But I don't need to on here, right? Like I could just use this flower. That would be a beautiful image, right? Beautiful focal point image. And then I could do my Happy Mother's Day with that. But because it's the first time I'm playing with this and it's really quite pretty, I'm going to use this. And use the little frame. And again, it's just paper, so it doesn't have to be, you don't have to have like really great um like I don't have to catch every single thing on here. I try to get most of the edges, the corners, anything that seems like it could catch on something. This little curly Q here is kind of pointed up, so I want to make sure that I've got a little bit of adhesive on that so it'll stick to the card base. But it doesn't have to be, it's not like it weighs a lot, right? So it'll stick to my paper and it'll be fine. But yeah. Go. All right. Now I'm going to stick this on here and I want to make sure that I've got room for all of the little curly cues that are going to pop off of here or kind of come to the edges. Still try to get it a little, there we go. Ooh, I might have got one that's stuck in there. Missed popping out one. There we go. Good. Okay. I'm just going to give that a little pat down. Now, so this is fairly flat now. So it's just the single layer. Okay. Cut that out once. What I've done on this one is again, I've backed it, but I've done it with two layers. So when this goes onto my card, it has a bit more dimension. So it pops off. It clearly, even though there's a lot that's on the go here, this shows still as my focal point. It's going to pop up here. Ooh, something else that could be kind of fun, actually, before I go and stick this down, is I've got my sheer shimmer craft spray. That shouldn't be that difficult to say. So I'm just going to take this off camera and I'm going to give this a bit of a spray down here. Yeah, that's nice. Okay, so I've just sprayed this with my craft sheer shimmer spray. See if my light will pick up that shimmer. Might have to dry a little bit first, but okay. So now I've added, so to add a little bit more dimension and focal on there, I've added some shimmer. So that's always nice. Can't go wrong. So I've added a shadow. So by popping it up, it's going to create dimension. That's going to show that it is a spotlight or a highlight or a focal point on the card standing out from the background. Actually, I'm gluing this one. Let me stick this on here to kind of keep that glued out. Now I've also added some shimmer to differentiate it from the from its background as well. So it will stand out just a little bit more. So we have the depth from the extra 2 die cuts and then the shimmer. That's another way to add detail or highlight if you want. Just trying to catch most of it. Doesn't have to be all of it, but I do want to catch a couple of the lines, put some adhesive, kind of get around the edges here because there's a slightly, like it's thicker around the outer circle or the outer edge where it's been cut. These to the side, this to the side, and now I'm going to take my die cut and kind of nestle it in. Fortunately enough, this one is not as complicated as that Aster or Daisy or whatever the heck that other one is. This is not quite as complicated to figure out where it goes. All right, I'm going to let that adhere for a moment. Now, what I've done is I have this die. So I've been playing with this Happy Mother's Day die, right? So when I cut this panel, I had quite a bit left over. So I actually die cut out of the same cardstock, like the background that I had. I've die cut the Happy Mother's Day out of it. Now, obviously, if I was going to try and put this on here, this would not stand out very much. It would basically blend into it. So what I've done is I also cut the Happy Mother's Day out of some red foiled cardstock. And I'm not sure if you can see it. Look at that. You can just catch the light glinting off of the edge. So again, it's going to create this little bit of shadow on here that will help it pop off of the card, off of this background. Okay, so I'm going to hold that up. Look at how that pops off. And even 2D, like looking at this flat, you can see, look at how much interest that has added. So that's a beautiful card right there. I don't have to put anything else on the front of it. I could just do my sentiment on the inside, but I thought it'd be kind of fun to put the sentiment on the outside here. I'm hoping it's showing. I don't know. Can I catch the shimmer? There it is, just a little bit of the shimmer on that. But I did think that this Happy Mother's Day, kind of going here along the flower and the leaf, would be quite interesting. Happy Mother's Day. And it's tone on tone, but still shows. So I think I'm going to go with that. Now, do I like it straight or do I like it on? No, I like it on the, everything's kind of on a curve here. So that's what I'm going to do here as well. Let's do this Happy Mother's Day, kind of like this. Just can a little bit. Okay, starting with the happy. Now this one I am going to add a little bit more adhesive because there's lots of holes, or not holes, but through the line work and everything, I need to make sure that some of this adhesive is going to grasp onto the all of the dimension here. So something out of all of this, where I've put this, I need it to stick someplace down here. Let's go there, like so. Okay. And I'm gonna pop the, let's do, put it on there. Let's get the mothers. Do. A little bit of adhesive on my tweezers. Not gonna be the first time, not the last time. And bring this in right around here. Happy mothers. That I need to make sure I'm kind of getting at least similar angle. Okay. Bring in the day. Right. Get that on there. And then I do have tittle to put down. Needs to go roughly in here somewhere. So let's get some adhesive there. Okay, let's give that a moment to set. And I'm not going to put any jewels on this because I think it's actually already got enough on the go on it. Don't think it needs anything else. But let's have a look. So we're coming down to the wire here on the end of the class. I hope you guys have enjoyed the class, are going to be able to turn your artwork or your beautiful backgrounds into something really beautiful. How nice that is. So up close, you can really see that Happy Mother's Day. So it doesn't, you think that it would get lost in the background, but it doesn't because we've popped this up. So there's some beautiful shine on the focal, but then I've also shifted this to the center and it's got this beautiful highlight of the foil beside it. So it kind of gives it this shadow. So it pops up and it gets this nice sheen, right? Like, so you can see it right there. So when you're looking at it in real life or in person, this is real life, but if you're looking at it in person and not through a camera, that really showcases and pops off of the card. So it's not, it doesn't look too busy. Now, another thing that I could do if I wanted to really, pull this out some more and really highlight this would be to take some glossy accents like this and put that over top and make this all glossy so it looks like a sticker then, right? That give it that extra little dimension. And I might do that, but it'll take a while for it to dry. So I don't want you guys to have to wait for a while I'm doing that and it won't dry on camera basically. Okay. So we have this card now, which has now dried with the Happy Mother's Day. So 1 and 2. So we completed those ones today. And then these are the other ones that we had. So you can see it says Happy Mother's Day. This was another die that came. So it had two, this separate ones. So added that one with some cute little pearls in the areas where the centers of the flower would be. And then it says grateful, thankful, blessed, and which is just another sticker, a sentiment sticker that I had here. And then this beautiful frame. And this, what's nice about this one is that it's two different pieces. So this is the inner, and then this cuts separately as well. So if I wanted this fancy oval on around a sentiment or something else that I was doing, or I wanted to do, let's say I wanted to put it around a photo frame, I could do that too. It's two separate pieces on this set, which is really lovely. And then just a simple happy Mother's Day on this one as well. Okay. Great, guys, that's going to be the class. I hope you enjoyed it. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, keep your comments kind. Share this with your friends. Anybody who's looking to get into card making, by all means, please share and share your thoughts with me. I'd like to if there's anything specific you're looking for me to try or want to see new, please let me know. Yeah, if you are also, I will include a link to my Buy Me a Coffee page in the description below. And if you do enjoy my classes and my videos and the class length type video, please, and you feel called to help support me, please go ahead and use the link, and any donations are appreciated. Other than that, you guys, I will see you in the next one. Take care, and bye-bye for now.